Welcome to our run-through of Nick Software's HDR Efex Pro. Excellent program. It's designed to create HDR effects, realistic or surreal or artistic, with single-shot images. So it's quite different from Photomatics. Yes, you can bring a raw image into Photomatics and do your HDR processing, but the real meat or the power of Photomatics is multiple images. So if you've got a single image, as I do in this case, I was driving down the road and saw this excellent rain cloud coming over the hills with the sheets of rain coming down, and I took a quick shot. And it turned out pretty poorly. The contrast is extremely flat, and it's just a boring looking image. So I want to punch this up, and I'm going to do it with HDR Efex Pro. I've got this set up as a plug-in to Photoshop, so I'm going to come up here to Filter, and then I'll go ahead and come down and start the program. Filter, come to your plug-in Nick Software, HDR Efex Pro, and let's wait for that to come on in. And here we go. Already one of the milder effects of the presets has been brought in, and let's take a quick little look around the interface here. You got everything you need here, everything you need. You've got all your different viewing options. This one we're going to be taking a look at, which is really handy, split preview. And what that does is gives you the before and after split screen, but what you can do is just drag this little guy around to get a better idea of your before and after. And you can also just simply do the full image or the blown up image side by side, top and bottom. For our purposes, we're just going to go ahead and stay on the full image. Now let's get into our presets. These things are really, really useful. This is a great place to start. It may not get you all the way where you want to be, but it's going to get you pretty close. Take a look at all of them. Here are all your categories, realistic. Check out all your presets down there, as well as artistic. You can see surreal, landscape, architecture, and special presets there. And you can also go to the Nick Software site and download a whole bunch of more presets. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to choose, which one did I want to do? Yeah, this one called Granny's Attic. Real nice big thumbnails you get here to get you a good idea of what effect is going to come in. This one is looking a lot like one of those bleach bypass processes. Yeah. Now you see this little guy up here, the little navigator window thing. This is real useful if you are going to blow up your image, your view, to something that is much bigger than your viewing area, which is kind of what we're going to have here. It's real big, navigator window, and that'll help you kind of get around your image. You can just click and drag in there, and you can get around your image. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back down to 25%. I'm going to hit the space bar, make the navigator window disappear again. And there it is, our kind of bleach bypass process. Okay. So now that I've got the presets all done, what I'm going to do is just get rid of this panel on the left-hand side, give me a little bit more real estate to see my image, and I'm going to click on that. Panel disappears, and there's my image. Okay. But for video purposes, I'm going to go ahead and click that panel on, only to shrink my image up a little bit so we can kind of see it full screen, yeah? Okay, let's get to work here. On the right side of the interface is going to be all your controls for tweaking. I usually start at global adjustments here, and here are all your sliders for global adjustments. They're pretty straightforward, pretty intuitive. I mean, exposure is just, you know, how bright you want your image. And I don't know, that seems about okay. So just experiment with these sliders. If you want to make really fine adjustments to your sliders, just simply click on the thing to make it active, and then you can use your right and left arrow to make real minor adjustments. That's a real useful thing. This is really useful too, this HDR method and how strongly you want to bring this method in. You've got a lot of different options up here which are real useful because when you start doing your HDR processing, it really has a tendency to bring a lot of grain in uniform texture areas like in here or up in here. So we need to keep an eye on that and be real careful with that. One handy way to take a look at that is instead of blowing up the image to 100%, come down here and take a look at your loop view. You can do a histogram also. Take a look at the loop view. The loop view follows your cursor, so if I come right up into a suspect grainy area like in here, just hover over that, look in your loop view, get an idea of what's going on. That's pretty darn grainy. And if I come up into this area, still get grain, a lot of grain. Now you might like grain. Grain is a fantastic effect, but in this image I'm not sure I want it. So what I'm going to do is come down here. Here are your options. These are really good. Absolutely play with all of these guys. And what I'm going to do is just click on the soft. And now let's come down and take a look in the loop view. And there we go. A lot of that grain went away. So I'm really pretty happy with that one. But I'm not sure I'm crazy about what it did with the rest of the image, right? So you go ahead and play around with these guys. And then we come down to selective adjustments. Here's the real power of HDR Efex Pro. This stuff is just fantastic. What you need to do is pay attention to this tiny little triangle guy here. We'll go through those in a second, but you're going to see more information as you add a control point. So all I'm going to do is click on this, and then I'm going to come into the image and create a control point. I'll do one right here. For demo purposes only, let's place it right there. Now, first thing you notice is a down arrow. Click on that down arrow to get all the adjustments you can make. Now, where's it going to come in? Just click on that guy, and you can adjust where that comes in, which is pretty cool. Now, how strongly is this going to come in? Will the effect fade as it gets to the edges? And yes, it will. And to get a real good idea of what your mask is going to look like, click on that little box there. There you go. That tells you exactly. The bright white is the strongest area of the effect, and then it trails off to black. Okay, so now I'm going to play around with this area on these clouds. The exposure, I don't know, what do I want to do? Darken those up? That's not bad, actually. I have a tendency to really overcook my HDR images, and they come out looking really bizarre. I do have a lot of fun with it, though, I will say that. Play with them all. As you hover over your slider, the name will expand out to tell you what it is. Exposure, contrast, saturation, structure again, the blacks and the whites, the warmth, and method strength. How strongly do you want the effect to come in? Let's try contrast if we bring that up a little bit. Not too bad. Structure, I'm still playing with this one. I like it. I'm overcooking it, all right. Well, I don't care. Okay. So now, if I kind of like that effect, and I just want to duplicate that effect, say, over here, I don't want to bring this up to get it over there, because that's going to cover too much of my image. So all I have to do is hover over the dot there, and hold down the Option key on a Mac, or the Alt key on Windows, and click and drag. Boom, and it'll bring it in. Pretty cool. I might want to try what it looks like up there. That's a little bit too dark, so all I do is hit the Delete key, yeah? Hit the Delete key to make that one go away. Gives you an idea of your 2 points over here. When your cursor leaves the image, they kind of disappear, so you can see the full thing. There, I kind of lost you on that one, didn't I? On the click and drag thing. Now, click on the dot to get all your effects back again. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to do an Option click or Alt click again, and I'm just going to come down here and see what happens. It's not too bad, but I might want to make these bushes a little bit darker, possibly. Yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, and then maybe come over Here, I could just do this for hours, actually. Exposure, yeah. No. Maybe make it a little bit lighter, make it a little contrasty. Yeah. Okay. So that's it on control points. The control points are really, really fabulous and really useful. It is just such a great idea that they came up with. Again, if you want to collapse your options, press that guy. Yeah. Okay. Super fine. And as you add your control points, as you can see over here, tells you everything about them. Show the mask on any of these guys to see what's happening there. Yeah. Okay. And you can highlight them and delete them from here as well. Control points. Really, really cool. Really like them. And now for the finishing adjustments down here, we have two options. We have a vignette, and we also have your standard curves that you can use. I'm not sure I want to put a vignette on this image, but if I did, and again, if this is collapsed in your program, don't forget to click on the details guide to get it all for you. You can place the center, you can choose the shape of this, white frame, all that kind of stuff, lens for, I'm really not sure I want to put a vignette on this, but you do have that option, and for many images, especially portraits, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just get off. Curves are good too, and these curves will work exactly as they do in Photoshop. You can do the full RGB image, or you can select the R, the G, or the B channel. And you also have what? Your different options for the curves. You go ahead and bring those in. Vintage 1. Again, I'm not sure I'm going to do that on this image. Dark contrast. Not really. Not sure I'm going to want to do that. I might want something a lot more subtle. If you want to play around with this, if you put it on neutral, you can. There you go. It's got a histogram behind here. So if you do want to play around with these curves here, what you can do is just click right there to drop a point, yeah? And then you can go ahead and play with that. Usually, the general rule is, if you're going to add a curve, make it steepest right in the middle of the histogram, right? So this is right in the middle of your histogram, and that's the area where you want the steepness, right in there, and then flatten out when you're outside your histogram. Okay, well that's just about it for HDR Efex Pro. It is really good. I really love this program, and you're going to have great fun with it. We have a discount coupon. Somewhere on the page you're looking at is a link to my website, photoshoppro.com. You can get a 15% discount on this guy. So check out my website, check out the prices, and it's a good deal. It really, really is worth it. Now, comparing HDR Efex Pro to Photoshop, I've given this a great deal of thought, and the bottom line is that you really can't do it. They're really apples and oranges. Photomatix is really made and designed for multiple images shot at different exposures. So you're starting out in Photoshop with images that contain much more tonal range information. HDR Efex Pro is designed for single images, and for single image shots, this does a fantastic job. I really love it. Now this has been already like a 14-minute video, but if I weren't making this video, everything I did here I could have probably done in like about 3 minutes, and it would have taken me much longer to do this in Photoshop, with having to make selections and then bring them on their own layer and then play around with hue saturation and blah 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 blah. But HDR Efex Pro, single shot images, HDR Efex, it is really spectacular. Love the program. Photomatix, for multiple images, 3, 4, 5 images, HDR processing, can't be beat. It is really powerful. Okay, thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate your viewing, and check out my website. Get your discount if you like the product, or just download a trial version. Give it a try first. You're going to like it. It's fun to play with, and I really love these little guys. They are so good, so cool. Thanks again. See you next time.